Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today I'm going to look at the new Win Arion compound bow. This is new for 2021 and it replaces the Griffin from 2020, and that's a bit kind of weird because the Griffin was renamed, so I'm not sure what they renamed it to. So we're going to look at this bow and I'm going to show you how it varies and what Win has done to their bow. We're just going to discuss Win a little bit. So I'm going to say Win produce obviously recurve competition bows, and they are famous for their recurve lineup. It's huge for them. I'm going to say the majority of Olympians are shooting Win recurve bows. The majority of medals shot at the Olympics would be shot with a Win bow. And you're going to say, well, there's other brands. Yes, there are, but Win is just dominant. They are just so dominant. Their bows are so solid. When I'm going to say that solid, I think with Win recurve limbs, I can't think of a warranty ever being done. So when I saw a Hoyt blow up at the Olympics, it's very unfortunate for that archer. If you check forums, you'll see a whole bunch of people blowing limbs. The Win limbs are literally almost indestructible. They're amazing product. Win produce push bikes, racing bikes, BMX bikes, a whole lots of stuff with their carbon technology, and they're all top of the line stuff. Now on their recurve bows, they do from bottom of the line to the top of the line. They have the WNS brand and the Win line, the Wireless line, which is their top of the line Olympic lineup. With their compound bows, it's in the black lineup, so it's under the brand Black. So they're always like black. This will be a black Arion DX bow, or the black something or other. Like they have the black elk recurve, the black shadow. So this is their target bow. It's 40 inches axle, brace height of about 7.58, which is a massive brace height. It's adjustable from 26 and a bit inches, and it's kind of a bit funny because you're kind of used to draw lengths being like 26 to 33 inches, but the Win is like 26 and 5/8. Like, what is that? To 32 and 3/8, so almost 33 inches of draw length. This bow's adjustable too, but it's not exact draw lengths. When I say it's not exact, well, it is exact. It's so exact, it's a number that's like I can't get my head around it. And if you're an American, you probably get your head around the size. But I'm going to show you what I mean. So at the bottom here, there's a data card which tells you a bit about this bow. Like the axle is 40 and 3/8, so it's not 40, it's 40 and 3/8. Speed is 325 feet per second. I'm going to say good luck with that. So it goes from 26. I haven't drawn this bow back. I haven't shot it, so look, it might be that speed. But for a target bow with an 8-inch brace height, good luck with 325. So it goes from 26 and 3/4 inch draw length to 32 and 3/4. Now the problem is this is a modular bow, so you've got to buy the modules and screw them on. You don't need a bow press, but you've got to buy the modules. So the number 1 module is 26 and 3/4. The number 2 module, the number 1.5 is 27 and 1/4. The number 2 module is 27 and 3/4. The number 2.5 is 28 and 1/4. 3 is 28 and 3/4. 3.5 is 29 and 1/4, and it kind of goes on like that. So instead of being like if you're used to the American bows, they're always like 28 or 29 inches or 28 and a half. This is kind of like 1/4 inch out of what you expect. Now in the past, Win did different cams, and that was confusing. So PSE. Win have gone away from that. They have the one cam now. So kind of simpler, but it's harder now because you've got to fit modules, which means you've got to buy modules. So let's say this bow is 29 and 1/4, which I think it is, out of the factory, and I want to go 29 and a half, 28 and a half. I'm going to need to buy a module. Well, let's say I get this bow at 29 and 1/4. I go, that feels short. I want to go to 29 and 3/4 instead of 29 and 1/4, so I've got to add half an inch. Then I've got to buy a module. With the past Win you could rotate the modules, but I'm going to say in the past Win which I'll show you, they were kind of a little bit confusing, and people didn't understand what they were doing as far as rotating the modules to change the let off and the draw length. With this is the dart and cam system. So it's a yoke here which balances the cam, which pulls off here, off the yoke system. So this is like your PSEs and lots of modern bows. String in the middle. It's got a limb dampener here. Now this is kind of interesting. Limb dampener's right near the top, so it should be down here. You can see this is like a data module. It looks identical. I don't know if they copied it one for one. I don't know if they pay patents. I guess they probably would. But it looks identical to a Darton, and they actually say it's covered by the Darton patent, so I assume they're paying the patents. Now, this here is the stop. So on this bow, you can adjust the let off by changing these stops, and I don't know if it comes with these or not. I think it does. And basically, to change the let off on here, you unbolt this and bolt a different draw stop on. So it's when you draw the bow back, it's actually stopping in a different spot. So it's reducing the size of the valley by basically moving the stop forward or back. The cams are kind of aggressive, especially for a target bow. So I'm going to suggest this is quite hard to draw. It's got the twin stops down the bottom here, and that's been like this for a number of years on the Win and Win. This is quite a nice feature, carbon rods and twin stops. It's got a flexible cable guard, which is nice. Win and Win's been using this for a while. But in the past Win and Wins, you had a roller slide. The roller slide was sold for about $80. Now I'm going to suggest Win and Win has either got rid of it for warranty reasons, or have got rid of it to reduce costs. The Win and Win roller guide was about $100. So they've now gone to your AE slippery slide, which is about $10 cable slide. Look, I'm not disliking the fact that Win and Win went away from that roller slide, because I did have people complain. They're like, well, the roller slide's wearing out, and it's now got a flat spot. And then it's like, well, is that covered by warranty because the bow's like a year old? And they had little rubber things on the rollers, they would wear out. And so for me being a shop, it was a bit of a pain. It was a nice feature, but they're expensive, and a lot of the time I just had to fork in my own pocket to provide replacement roller slides, and I'm not unhappy about these. These work well. It flexes in, this reduces the torque. The weight of this bow is 5 1/4, so it's not a light bow. Win and Win had success with the bow, which was the Dragonfly. This was the Dragonfly. Win and Win had massive success with this bow, and they had success for a number of reasons. They had a beautiful paint job. Win and Win does amazing paint jobs on bows. This is a straight blue, but they did marbly effects. They had some amazing colors. The bow itself was very light, draw length adjustable, and very cost efficient, about $1,000. Win and Win had massive success with that bow. They later changed to split limbs. I'm going to say with the split limbs, I had no problems with split limbs. The Arion has got the split limbs now as well. Limb pockets have changed a bit. In the old Dragonflies, you could wind the bow out as much as you wanted and basically replace the strings. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore. It's kind of interesting. There's two flat spots. There's one here and there's one on the other side. So I'm going to suggest you could rotate these sockets around. I'm not sure if it reduces the poundage more or not. This here is a carbon stabilizer enhancer on this side here. What this does is make the riser more rigid. Now, Win and Win had this out for a number of years. They've had it on, they've had braces made out of carbon on their recurves. Bowtech had a brace on one of their target bows. They no longer use a brace. Win and Win use it now. It kind of looks pretty cool. Just bolts on there and there. I don't know if it does much, but it kind of looks cool. It's a nicely finished, very high quality graphics. The machine looks nice. Two RS holes here, just the single spot up here. Now what's different, I'm going to say this looks really nice. The badge looks nice. There's your graphic there. Now what's different this year is Win and Win has got an adjustable grip. Now this bow comes with 3 grips. I'm going to hopefully get this right. They unbolt from the side here and they bolt on to basically change the angle so you can increase the grip angle here on the bow. Now this is not unique. The Hoyt Invicta does this, but the cheaper Hoyts don't, which I find totally bewildering, while they put it on their $2,300 bow but not their $2,000 bow. But Win and Win have got it on this bow, and this is about a $1,400 bow, and this is a beautiful feature. The grip is quite narrow. It's very Hoyt-like. It's very square in the body, so it'll be interesting to see what it feels like. Only have the one stabilizer hole. There's no lower stabilizer hole there, and a very lower stabilizer hole here. Look, the strings look pretty standard. There's no center serving here. The Win and Win strings of the past have been extremely affordable, and some people will say they're affordable for a reason. Look, I'm not going to go into the whole string debate, because the strings to me don't mean a lot. And I think for probably the people who they mean a lot to are people who shoot, I'm going to say, fairly average scores, and people are going to go, oh no, I'm like, strings are really important. Like, yeah, okay, right. Like, do you shoot more scores? Do you shoot better scores with a different string? I don't. I have never shot a different score with a different string. I just like the fact that you've got a string with a brand X or brand Y, or you've made it yourself. I've got a guy down the coast who makes strings himself in his backyard. They look perfectly fine. They look beautiful. He just makes them for the guys in the club. Look, they look great. I'm sure they shoot good. Like, you know, if he had a brand X string from somewhere else that he paid $300 for, I don't think he's going to shoot any better. The Win and Win strings like this are like this to me. They probably retail for around $60-70 a set, really cheap. And they're not $300 a set, which is going to blow your budget, and I just don't think you're going to see any extra difference in that. You know, for me to make a set of strings, it probably takes me 2 hours to make it. There's probably $30 worth of materials in there. We charge $135 to make a set of strings. Wages are about a bit over $30 for an hour, $33 an hour. So I've got about $66 worth of labor in them. I've got probably $30-40 worth of parts. I've got $100 in it. I charge $135. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but that's a ballpark number. That's how we work our pricing for strings. Sometimes we've got to throw them away because they're no good. But yeah, so the Win strings I think are okay. I don't have a problem, but some people do. So it's up to you. The limb pockets I think look okay. I really like these dampeners. They're a very solid dampener. I really like them. I think Win and Win should sell them, and they may sell them now. But the bow itself comes with a really nice padded case. It's soft, plush inside. It's a really high quality case. It comes with a nice Win and Win hat, probably something like this. It won't be this. I think it's got a green badge on it. But look, it's a nice quality product, and this is the top of the line Win and Win. I'm just going to grab the Griffin X, which was a bit of a failure, I think, for Win and Win last year, because they released it. Oh, this bow is significantly lighter. It's got to be 4.5 pounds, significantly lighter. The adjustable modules, and it had a draw stop here. Now, I've obviously taken this draw stop off to give it to someone. So what I had some people who broke stuff, or screws came loose and they've got no bow to shoot, and then I've got to pilfer it off a bow, and then I've got a bow with no draw stop. I know I did one to New Zealand. The guy lost a screw, so then I had to pilfer it off a bow so I could, and that's what I get left with. I get left with a bow I can't sell. But I'm going to say that was the module. Look, the cams look miles better this year, but I do like the adjustability feature. I didn't like with these here, it was a bit confusing how to adjust them. Look, you could work it out, but if you're working in an archery shop and you sell thousands of compound bows, like from different brands and there's different models, trying to work out how this one works was not simple. You'd want to be selling heaps of them. So, Win and Win have got these things on the back, on the top of the limb. They're a metal thing which encompasses the axle. So if you dry fire your bow, you should not blow your limb tips. That's a very clever feature. So when you dry fire your bow, and you should never shoot a bow without an arrow, but when you shoot a bow without an arrow, what generally happens, besides the string snapping, unless it's a Hoyt, because for some reason they don't snap when you dry fire them. I don't know why. Look, I don't know if the Hoyts do dry fire, but Hoyts say they can dry fire their bows so many times, and I'm like, well, how do you do that? Because the strings break. But generally when you dry fire a bow, the strings will snap. You may get away with it. But what will generally happen is the limbs will smash there, so the axles are trying to move their way out, so they'll move upwards, and they'll just rip apart the limb. And you go, what happened? Those limbs just failed. No, you shot without an arrow in it. Or the knot failed and the arrow just fell down on the ground. It's like really common. Look, this is what this is for. It's very common. I think all bows should have it. The roller slide that I spoke of, there, non-adjustable grip. This bow sold for about $1,400. I think I've got them out now for about $12. Look, I think the new Orion looks better. I like the weight on the Griffin better. I like the adjustability on the draw length better on the Griffin. But I think the new bow looks a bit flash than the Griffin. Now I think with Win & Win they weren't allowed to use the name Griffin because Boeing had patented the name Griffin for their vanes, for those little curly vanes which have just been released. So I think Win & Win had to rename the Griffin. So with that, let's set this up. Let's shoot it through a chronograph. Let's see what sort of speeds we get. Let's see what the draw length's like. Let's see what the draw cycle's like. Let's shoot some groups with it. So one of the questions I'd have if I was a consumer is why don't you see lots of these Win & Win compounds on the market? Because you see a whole bunch of the recurves on the market. There's lots of reasons, and we're going to just touch on some of those points. So in America, Win & Win was distributed in America by Lancaster Archery. Now, as I understand, Win & Win is not, I don't think Lancaster is distributing Win & Win in America anymore. I'm pretty sure Win & Win went to a model where they wanted to go directly to the stores, and then Lancaster was like, we're not happy with this, right? So I went to Lancaster's website and they do not have the Win & Win compounds on their website. So I'm pretty sure that happened. So then so Win & Win is trying to get into the stores in America, and there's hundreds and hundreds of stores in America, hundreds in Canada. So they're trying to get into those stores. Now that's an ask, because let's say you've got a store in Pennsylvania. There should be about like hundreds of stores in Pennsylvania selling archery gear. You might be a Hoyt dealer, you might be a PSE dealer, you might be an Elite dealer, you might be a Matthews dealer. And that company might not like you adding another brand in. Or you may not even want to add another brand because you might feel, well, this is hard to buy a bow from Win & Win and it's hard to import, and I like just buying stuff in America where there's someone to look after me. That attitude definitely exists in America. In Australia, we have no choice. We've got to import. Now, with behind me, you've got the new PSE Supras on the wall, and these have just been released, like last week. Now, I imported about 50 of them. So why'd you import so many, would you say, Stephen? Because I have some sort of an arrangement with PSE where I get good pricing and then I can sell them to all the stores in Australia. So my theory is, let's say there's 50 stores in Australia and there's not, but let's say there was, then I could sell one to each store and there's my 50 PSEs sold. Now with Win & Win, it's a little bit different. So I used to have an exclusive arrangement with Win & Win in Australia, but now I think they supply pretty much most stores. So for me, they sell Win & Win at the same, I think Win & Win sell Win & Win to all the stores in Australia at the same price. So now I can't wholesale the product in Australia. I still do to the stores, but I'm now not price competitive to the other stores who buy direct because we're all buying at the same price. So if you're a bigger store, you can go to Win & Win and buy the bow, and basically you don't need to buy it from me because you're going to buy it at a better price and it's going to come in. So basically there's no incentive for me to buy 40 of these bows because the shops are going to be buying direct And the shops who I sell who don't buy direct are not going to be price competitive because there's a shop down the road who's buying Win and Win direct. Now, saying that, there's not a shop in Australia stocking a Win and Win compound bow. Now, it's not to say they won't add them on their website and say, well, look, I can get it in for you. It can be a 4-week wait. And COVID's making that a little bit hard because of the delay times of getting stock in and the freight costs and all that sort of stuff. But basically, shops at one stage were like, yes, we can get Win and Win and we'll undercut, and then basically it killed the whole wholesale market in Australia. I'm not sure what the deal is in Europe. There's a couple of big wholesalers in Europe who do lots of the wholesaling to the majority of the shops in Europe, and I'm pretty sure this bow would be available in Europe. I couldn't see the bow in England, but the problem's getting in there and getting a shop who's active. So, and once again, if you're competing, if you're a Hoyt shop, Hoyt's probably not going to want you having other brands, or if you're another, like let's say you've got Matthews, they might not be happy for you to bring Win and Win in. And if you do, let's say your sales decrease of Matthews because now you're selling lots of Win and Win, then Matthews won't be happy and Matthews will drop you. So there's lots of pressure on the shop to solely push one brand because they will lose that brand. So that exists here. If shops don't maintain their sales in a certain brand, they will lose that brand. And then the brands try and pick up other suppliers who will probably sell more products. So Win and Win's kind of in that hard place where it's out of Korea and it's an unknown product. When I moved to South Australia, there was lots of Hoyt sponsored shooters in this state, probably somewhere in the vicinity of 14, all given bows, and you're like, well, this is what I'm up against. There's a whole bunch of bows just given away to the top shooters, and you've got to come in here and you've got to make a name. You know, you've got to have good pricing, good service. Win and Win don't give away literally any bows. There's a archer in America or a Paralympian who shoots Win and Win, but you need to have that force and that marketing to push the brand. And I don't think Win and Win has that with the compound. They definitely have it with Recurve. Recurve, it's Win and Win everywhere. Everything's winning with Win and Win. Their push bikes, they have massive amount of success with. Their compounds, it's just not the case. They haven't purchased, and I say purchased the shooters, given them the money to buy them, and then had success on a world stage with the Win and Win product. So it's a bit of a, pushing the envelope, but this is an interesting bow, so let's have a shot and see how it shoots. Okay, so the first thing we're going to try out is the draw cycle. Now, I normally have different arrows here to test the speed of the bow. Unfortunately, I didn't bring them. I was like, I had this bow and I was like, okay, grab the cameras, grab the stuff, and I forgot to grab the spare arrows. I thought I grabbed them, but it is what it is. So let's first off try the draw cycle. Now, the first thing you'll notice with this is the grip a lot squarer. So if you've got the Griffith or the Orion, which they renamed it to later, that's got a more rounded grip on the edges. This is a lot squarer, so it's definitely a lot more like your Hoyt Invicta grip. Right, so this is a 60-pound bow, and it's quite hard to start with. So that where I said 325 best of luck, I'm like 325. I'm sure you're going to hit it with this bow. That's very short valley. I'm going to take this shot. So this is meant to be 29. Now that was 267. That's with a Victory 350 with a 140 grain point. That's a pretty quick speed. I'm pretty sure that's the same sort of speed I'm going to have in the Supra, which is fast. So 325 is going to be on the money for this. The valley is very short, very much like a Hoyt. So this is very much, I can't tell you what the new Darton's like. This has got the new Darton cam. This has a very short valley, just like a Hoyt. The vibration is very impressive. Like, have a look at the bow after I shoot the shot. God, that's hard. Look, there's a bit of vibration, but it's pretty good. 267. Now the valley, you notice when I draw it, so it's very hard. And then as it hits the valley, it's very rapid decrease into the valley, and the valley is very, very short. And that's very indicative of the way the Hoyts draw back. And it's not like the Win and Wins of the past. The Win and Wins of the past have been very smooth and easy to draw bows. This is not that. This is a very aggressive cam system. Not to say it's bad, it's just an aggressive cam system. So, you know, like the new cams, and I'm going to say the new cams, your PSCs, your Cures, your TRXs, they tend to have big cams and they tend to be quite smooth draw cycles. So tend to be quite easy to draw. And you can see with me shooting this is a 60-pound bow. And generally with 60-pound bows, I draw them pretty easy. I love the grip. Love the grip. The grip's great. So although it's squarer, I'm going to say it's probably a fraction wider than the Hoyt, because often with the Hoyt it's like quite tiny at the top. The Elites move in, the PSC is more rounded and bigger. The Elite is a lovely grip. The Matthews grip's a bit, which is why everyone fits aftermarket grips to it. This grip is just really good. When you're back there and aiming, it's very solid. The draw stop just won't move. It's just rock solid at the back. So that drop off where it drops over the valley, it's very severe, and that's going to move my sight pin. See, I'm getting better with it now. I'm getting used to the draw. Look, very positive. I'm going to say it's probably on 75% let off. Really liking the bow. There's virtually no vibration in the strings. I'm going to say the Matthews will have less vibration after the shot because it's got more parallel limbs than this. This feels like a Hoyt to shoot. It's kind of like the PSE Super when you shoot it, similar limb angle. The bow has got a little bit of force moving forward, the same as the Hoyt Invicta. The Elite result, I'm going to say a little bit less. The result's more like in Matthews. Matthews is dead in your hand afterwards. This is very much like your Invicta, a bit like the Super where it kind of moves forward in your hand after the shot. The Super is a smoother draw cycle, a bigger valley. But this valley with these stops is just rock solid, just really, really nice. So with that, we're going to sight this bow in at 18 and see how we group. Now I'm going to say straight up, I'm going to shoot great with this bow. I'm going to say that because I think the big brace height, almost an 8-inch brace height, it's just going to be forgiving to shoot. It's just going to lock in. I'm going to get no pin movement. I'm going to get a little bit of first off pin movement with the aiming, but I think I'll aim pretty well. I think the bow will be quite well balanced. See the balance in the hand. Now with the Supra, when you hold the bow in your hand, it comes back like this. So without the stabilizer, the PSE Supra, which is the biggest selling target bow, comes back and hits you in your hand, but you're not going to shoot without stabilizers, so it's not really an issue. The TRX from Matthews is well balanced, and I'm thinking that this feels nice to shoot. It's a very solid bow, very positive to shoot, gives really good feedback, significantly better than any Win and Win I've shot as far as compounds. And I've shot all of them. This is the best. Let's go and shoot some grips and see how well I shoot. So I'm back here at 18. I had to sight the bow in and it was difficult. It took me about 10 shots to hit the middle, and it's just moving the pin around. It wasn't easy. Easy with micro adjustment. Now, one of the things I'm going to say about putting the arrow rest on, the purpose of 2 arrow holes in the riser is so you can fit 2 bolts on. Now, Win and Win have moved these 2 screws too close to each other, so you can't actually fit 2 in. So if you are going to fit 2 screws, you're going to have to cut down one of the ends of these bolts here using like a Dremel or a hacksaw or a file. So it would have been better if those 2 bolts were a little bit away. It would have been better if the end of the riser was square, so when the arrow butts up against it, it butts up, square. But besides that, it's pretty good. When I shoot the bow, I'm getting a bit of this thing happening with the grip. But I'm finding it very comfortable to shoot. You can probably see I'm drawing the bow back a lot easier now. So let's just see. Let's see how it groups. I think I'll shoot well with it, but my sighting in process was rough. So I've got no reason for it to be rough. I haven't shot a group. I've shot about 10 arrows and they've been all over the place, but the last one hit the middle. So let's see how it goes. So yeah, when I shoot, I feel a little bit of that happening. The sight pin's completely still on the center. Now I think the draw length of this is 29 1/4. 29 1/4. It should have 2.5. It's got 3.5s on it. Yeah, okay, so it's got 3.5s, which is 29 1/4. Now I'm normally 28.5 to 29. It feels somewhere in between 28.5 and 29, and it's 29 1/4 according to the specs. And that's part of the problem with a modular bow, that if you want to make changes, because all bows feel a bit different in draw length, you're going to have to buy modules, and that's a bit of a pain. Now you're going to say, well, you've got to buy modules from Matthews. Yes, but if you sell lots of Matthews, then you'll be selling lots of bows, and then so you'll have the spare modules. But if you don't sell many Matthews, then you won't have many Matthews modules. And when each bow has a different module, it becomes a nightmare. Like Matthews has a different module for each bow, and I have boxes and boxes of modules. And then Elite had modules before, they're all rotating now. But as a shop, it's a nightmare tracking all the modules. So as a customer, it's a bit of a pain. Like let's say in 2 years time, you go to sell this bow, and you want to sell it to a guy who's 30 inches in draw length. He's got to find the module for this bow, and it might be hard to find. Look, the bow feels quick, it's solid. I like the adjustable grip, I like the adjustable draw stops. I don't like the modules, although modules have an advantage. So the disadvantage for a shop is a customer walks in, let's say to buy this bow. We've got this bow in stock in 29 1/4, this bow here, and the guy's 28.5. You can't sell the bow to him because you don't have the module. The advantage of a modular bow is it should be perfect for that size, and the module can't slip. It's built into the cam. Now, I've got no idea where these arrows are going. I'm hoping they're not flying through the shed out the back and hitting the stray dogs in the property behind us. So I think the reason why people don't have rotating modules like the PSEs and the Elites, which have rotating modules, the MyBows, Bears have rotating modules, is you have to pay the patent to PSE. If you don't want to pay the patent to PSE, then you've got to have a modular bow. Look, if you're looking for a bow to be smooth when you shoot, as far as not moving your hand, then the TRX, the NX, the EVL 34, which I loved. The Elite Remedies, the more parallel limbs will get you that, but this bow sort of jumps forward in your hand. I'm going to say the Valley's a little bit longer than a Hoyt, because with the Hoyt, if you kind of let down, it's just a millimeter, so it rips your shoulder out. With this one, it's kind of locked in. Let's go and see where those arrows are. So one of the advantages of this bow is obviously the long draw length out to 32 3/4, because there's not that many bows which will go out to 33 inches. There's only a handful, so that's a big plus for this bow. Look, I'm finding the draw is harder than my PSE Supras that I own and the other bows I own, but I'm not minding it. It's not too bad. I really like the grip. Well, that is not the most horrible grip I've ever shot. I can get my fingers clearly around the whole bunch of them. It's just the sight's in the wrong spot. And I said I hit the 10 before the last shot, but clearly the sights weren't perfect and they were just a little bit out. But the gripping is excellent. If I had them in the sight in the right spot, the majority of those arrows would be 10s at 18 meters, and that's pretty good. The light is failing. It's about 6 o'clock here. Look, I like the bow. I really like the Win & Win Arion DX. I love the grip. I really love the grip. I just think that fits perfectly in my hand. It's one of the better grips I've ever felt on a bow. I love the adjustability of the grip, which I haven't tried the different sizes, but I like that ability to change the grip. I think that fits really nice. The modules are a negative, but I can kind of live with that because that bow fits me perfectly. I think it comes with the little mods to change the lead off, which is like thumbs up to Win & Win for it. Look, it comes with a case. The case is probably worth $100. Price point on it is about $1,400, which puts it under all the target bows on the market. When I say under all of them, under all the elite target bows on the market, and that's not elite, like puts it under the Supra, it puts it under all the big brands. It only doesn't put it above the budget target bows on the market. So it's higher than your Chinese target bows, but it's kind of a little bit more than your budget American-made target bows. And I think at that price point, it's a very interesting proposition for an archer to buy because it's clearly a quality product. The cams are very interesting. It's a very interesting bow. Now, saying that, if you're a dealer in America and you're like thinking, well, geez, do I want to embark down this Win & Win road? I would contact Win & Win and see what sort of arrangement you can come up with, because the recurves are excellent. So you will sell recurves. There's no question you'll sell recurves. You'll sell the hunting recurves, the wolves I sell heaps of, the black elks you'll sell heaps of. The compounds are a bit of an unknown proposition, and there's a few more in their range which would be worth looking at. The carbon riser bows are very interesting. They have a good range of accessories which will be well worth stocking if you're in a store. The compounds themselves, I think the only way you're going to push these compounds is to have them in your store and physically go and shoot them. And say, look, I shoot this bow, it shoots well. And for you, for a shop owner or an employee in a shop, you're probably giving your bows by the brands. I'm not, but I know some of my staff are sponsored by the various brands. So some of my staff are sponsored by Elite, some are sponsored by PSE, and some are sponsored by Bowtech. So they're given a bow at discount rates to promote that product. And it makes it good for me in a store when you've got a Bowtech staff shooter who goes, I know about Bowtech, I shoot them, I do everything with Bowtech, I know about Bowtech. It makes my life easier as a store owner, because when someone comes in for a Bowtech, you can go, hey, there's the Bowtech guy there. Or if someone shoots PSE, like, I know everything about PSEs, I know this is what I shoot. That's the problem you're going to have with the Win compound. You need someone shooting this who knows it, who's like passionate into it. And I think that bow's awesome. That for me, it's like, well, if I shot that and was promoted, then all the shops in Australia would just buy it at the same price as me, and it's a waste of time for me pushing this product. And you're saying, why are you doing a video on this bow, Stephen? I'm doing the video because I thought the bow looked pretty interesting. I was like, it's got some cool features that I think that I wanted to have a look at. I was interested in this cam system. I was interested in how it compared to the bows before. And I think they've got some cool colors. They've got blacks and reds, and I think it's a cool looking bow. I looked at it and I was like, this is a cool looking bow. I love the grip when I just felt it. I love the way the bow felt. 5.25 pounds is heavy, so it's going to be aimed at the elite target shooter. Win do have the shadow for a lighter target bow. So if you're not interested in a heavy target bow, look at the shadow. It's a full carbon riser for target shooting. It's pretty awesome. Same cams, same limbs, just a carbon riser, which is lighter for target. But yeah, that is an awesome bow. I think it looks fantastic. It's the quality finish on their bow is as good, if not better, than any other brand on the market. The way Win finishes their labels on their limbs, the way they finish their limbs, the way they finish the risers, it's all top class. And you can have a debate about the strings, but I'm going to say, well, I'm going to question other brands of strings if you want to have that debate. But I would be happy to shoot those strings, and if I was to buy that bow, I would shoot it with those strings. I wouldn't be worried about it at all. And at $1,400, I think that's a very unique bow. Very, very interesting. And I think that is the best Win I've shot, and I've shot every Win to date. That's the best. And I've done reviews before. You can see some of the other ones where I've actually canned the Win bows, and I'm like, look, I don't like this. Like this bow. This bow is really top. I would be that grouping with a whisker biscuit, a 5-pin hunting sight, no peep sight, no stabilizers. I'm in that grouping. Awesome. Big brace height, you're going to shoot the thing well. 40-inch axle, forgiving to shoot, it's fast, it's solid draw stop, it's got everything going for it, except it's not rotating modules, so you're going to have to buy modules. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the price on those modules now. Just went and looked up the price list on the modules and the limbs and all the parts for the Win bows. So they've definitely gone up in price. And nowhere near the same price as your American products, but they're approaching that price. So the numbers from the top of my head, because I haven't done the calculations, but numbers from the top of my head, your modules will be costing you maybe $70 a set, which is, yeah, probably similar to your American modules. The cams now they sell them in a cam set, and I assume that comes with modules. It doesn't say, it just says cam set, which was more expensive than their old ones. So I assume that's the patents, and they're now paying patents to Darton for that. They were like up towards the 400, which is like American pricing for the cam. So where before they used to be significantly cheaper. Like a toe point cams might be 150, 120, might be less, but Win used to be like that for cams, and now they're up with the your expensive brands for cams. They sell the limb pockets were really expensive. I don't know why you need limb pockets, but they were quite expensive. A lot of the other stuff on the bow, just the spare parts, was inexpensive. Now I'm just going to talk about warranty and that sort of stuff. I'm going to say in the past with Win when I have had warranty problems, so let's say I've had a limb break, and this isn't with recurves, I have had really no limbs. I have had a limb break the other day with the recurves Advantage. Win generally replace stuff with no questions. They just like, I'll fix it, done. But I don't get many warranty claims. I've had a couple with the compounds. I had some with the the cheaper Win and Wins, which was called the... I can't even think of the name of it. Didn't sell many of them. The limb would touch the riser and cause a crack in the limb. Win and Win changed all those bows to split limbs, or they just replaced the entire bow. So they've been very good with that sort of stuff. Like sometimes you got to wait from the customer's perspective, and the customer might not be happy with that. But in every single case, Win and Win has either replaced the bow or they've replaced the limbs to the split limbs system, and provided all the bits that I need to make that bow a split limb system. On the split limb system, I don't think I've had a failure. So they've been pretty good. With the American system, like when the bow's, let's say a PSE bow's 10 years old and something breaks, lifetime warranty, it just gets fixed. PSE is amazing with that. And it's a major driver for me for customers, because it's like if you've got a 10-year-old PSE and something breaks, PSE will fix it one way or the other, and I just find it amazing. So I don't know how you'll go with that, because I don't think Win and Win have a lifetime warranty. I think it might be a 2-year or a 5-year warranty. You'd have to check that out. That'd still be pretty good, I'm pretty sure. I know in the past with those cable roller slides that I mentioned at the start of the video, they had some issues. Win and Win replaced the whole lot of them. They just sent a whole bunch out and we just replaced the whole lot. But like, they obviously want to make an impact in the compound market. They have an engineer who works on their compounds. Nice guy. Their sales force are really good. They talk well. They communicate well. They speak English. So it's not like you've got to deal with, Chinese people speaking Chinese to you, which is hard. Their salespeople speak English, and they speak English well. They write English very well. So it's a very easy communication process. Shipping times on Win and Win are pretty good. I would say they weren't hit very bad by COVID. Shipping prices in. So Win and Win is made in China and in Korea, so it's a bit of a mix where it comes from. From China, I'm pretty sure it has to fly in. It can't come in by sea, so costs are a little bit higher and costs have gone up. But overall, it seems to fly in. It seems to come in pretty well. I just don't know where stuff's made. So it gets a bit confusing when I place a big order that some of it's coming from China and some coming from Korea, and some of it might be a small order from Korea and a larger order from China. So that's a little bit confusing. But overall, look, the Arion DX, I think, is like, I really rate that bow. It's not, if you're looking for a target bow that's dead in the hand, the TRX, try the Elite, try the EVL34 from PSE. It's more of a hunting style bow. They're more dead in the hand. If you're looking for a bow with a little bit of movement in the hand, the Supras, the Hoyts, the Elite's a bit of a cross between the moving forward and the parallel limbs. So try them out. The Elite has got a very smooth draw also. So this is definitely more of a Hoyt style draw, but not as aggressive as a Hoyt draw. But price point is excellent, and I think the finish is excellent. I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.